Ms. Searles, good morning. You're gonna have to change your background photo on your app for something that's better suited for court.
Okay. That's me and my son, but understood.
To tell you now that Judge Law, the judge for the day, does not like seeing pictures of people's kids on the Zoom.
Understood. It's just because it's under my Gmail, so it automatically popped up. I don't have a problem changing it.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Law, and let's get started with our state all-purpose calendar. This is a misdemeanor calendar in which the cases have already been formally accused. Bonds have been set, and today we're going to determine the status of the case. We're going to be dealing with each case on a one-on-one basis to find out whether the defendant would like to consider a recommended sentence from the prosecutor and enter a plea of guilty or no contest, or if the defendant would like to demand a trial, and which is the constitutional right, and the case would then be reset for trial upon the entry of a not guilty plea. Other matters we will address are things such as bond modifications and bench warrants, as well as our competency calendar. I'm looking at courtroom 2. Courtroom 2, do we have folks in the courtroom? Mr. Haddad, good morning.
No, Judge.
Other than yourself and the deputy?
That's it. So I see some people walking in now, Judge.
All right, sir.
And, excuse me, Your Honor, I didn't mean to apologize.
No
Mr.
problem.
Haddad, I got your counter offers and just sent a response. I am working alone today, so I appreciate everyone's patience.
Oh, no problem.
This is Tuesday.
Miss Deputy, good morning. Shall I begin with my advising of their rights? Or are we having more people in?
Yeah, we have to get a few more people, Your Honor, but you can start with this group right here.
All right. For the gentleman who just brought into courtroom 2, good morning. My name is Judge Law. We're going to be addressing each of your cases. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. All right. Mr. Haddad, who would we like to address first, or deputy?
Sure, what's your last name?
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, he's got Tom. What's your last name? Stern. Stern. Okay, come on up. Stern.
No more talking.
Judge, I saw a bunch of folks yesterday, so I can't keep track of who I spoke to, but this is position number 5657, Antoine Stanford, Judge.
Okay, my calendar looks like a booklet, so okay. We are addressing Antoine Rashad Stanford, case number 24 CR 5318C, accused of theft by shoplifting from July 30th, 2024. And he's got a bench warrant, 24 FTA 1889, from November 20th of this year. Mr. Stanford, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Mr. Haddad. And what are we doing, Mr. Haddad?
It's going to be a plea, Judge.
All right. Mr. Stanford, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may put your hand down. Ms. Folk, what's the recommendation? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. Could you please unmute, Ms. Folk?
Thank you. The recommendation is 12 months served, 36 days, excuse me, credit for time served 18 days. That's going to be from July 30th, 2024 to August 7th, 2024, and then December 4th, 2024 until today. Balance probated. Stay away from the Kroger located at 590 Cascade Avenue Southwest in Atlanta, an anti-theft course, and a $500 fine. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
We stipulate, Judge.
Mr. Sharp, have you consumed, excuse me, not Mr. Sharp, Mr. Stanford, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Oh, I take medication.
Okay. After you consume the medication, are you still able to understand what's going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the legal services you received?
Yes, Your Honor.
And after your discussion about your case with your attorney, are you prepared to enter a plea willingly, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that entering a plea will require you to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be presented against you during the course of a trial, be able to present your defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting from July 30th, 2024?
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 36 days. Oh, credit for time served, 18 days. You will then be placed on probation. Mr. Haddad, does he have any holds?
He does, Judge. He still has to go to court on a felony charge, so he's not gonna be released right now. His next court date, I think, is December 30th, Judge. So I'm
Okay.
stuck on release. He's got to report within 48 hours, assuming that's what the court wants me to instruct him.
All right. Mr. Stanford, you've got one other case to deal with. For this case, once you are done with all your cases, you are to report to the Fulton County Probation within 48 hours of being released. You can go to the probation office on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday before 3 p.m. And the probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Make sure you report there because you will need to complete your anti-theft class, which you must enroll within 45 days of being released. And you must pay a $500 fine, which you must pay at a rate of $50 per month. At least a minimum of $50 per month. You're also to stay away from the marshals, You're also to stay away from, oh, I've got this, sorry, this is Mr. Stanford. He's on probation, I'm correct, yeah. He needs to do the anti-theft class and pay a $500 fine at a rate of minimum payment of $50 per month. And he's to stay away from the Kroger at 580 Cascade Avenue in Southwest Atlanta.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would let them know.
And
Okay.
his bench warrant will be null pros.
Thank you, Judge.
Next case?
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be, 48 through 51, Mr. Orlando Robinson.
Okay.
Space.
48. All right. This is Orlando Robinson, case number 24 CR 2297C. Mr. Robinson has two cases before the court, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he has 4 cases before us today. Let's begin with position 48. 24 CR 2297C, accused of battery, family violence from April 25th, 2024. Position 49, 24 CR 7925C, battery, family violence, 2 counts from July 23rd, 2024.
Yeah, I know it's a record.
Position 50, case number is 24 CR 7926C, 1 count of battery, family violence, 1 count of simple battery, family violence from May 6, 2024. Position 51 is a bench warrant, 24 FTA 1887 from July 19th, 2024. Mr. Robinson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your counsel is going to be Mr. Haddad. Mr. Haddad, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, it's gonna be a plea on the 3 cases, and of course, the 4th one would be a null process, assuming the plea goes through, Judge.
Mr. Robinson, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
I can't hear you. Repeat.
I do.
Thank you. Put your hand down, please. Thank you. Ms. Falk, do you have a global offer for the 3 cases?
I do, Your Honor. Do you want me to give the total offer and then break it down?
Yes, I think that'll be better.
So the total offer is 12 months served, 100 days, credit for time served 10 days. That's going to be from December 3rd, 2024 until today. Balance probated. He's to have no further contact with Cheryl Brown and James Brantford at 899 Park Street Southwest in Atlanta. He is to take a family violence intervention program and have no firearms. So that is the total recommendation. The breakdown of that on position 48 is 12 months served 24 days, credit for time served 12 days from April 26th to April 27th and December 3rd, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Cheryl Brown and James Brantford. Stay away from 899 Park Street Southwest in Atlanta. FVIP, no firearms. Position 49, count 1, 12 months serve 100 days, credit for time served 10 days. That's from December 3rd, 2024. Balance probated, no further contact with the above listed Cheryl Brown and James Brantford. Stay away from that same address at 899 Park Street. Family Violence Intervention Program, no firearms. Count 2 will merge with count 1. And then position 50, the same recommendation, 12 months serve 100 days, credit for time served 10 days from December 3rd, 2024. Balance probated, no further contact with Cheryl Brown and James Brantford. Stay away from the 899 Park Street Southwest address. Family Violence Intervention Program, no firearms. Count 2, the simple battery, will merge with count 1. These counts are all to run concurrent, and position 51 will be null prost upon the acceptance of this plea. We would like to sound for Miss Cheryl Brown and James Brantford at this time, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
Your Honor, we stipulate as full purpose of the plea, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Brown or Mr. Brantford, if you're on Zoom, this is your opportunity to speak up about the proposed sentence for Mr. Robinson. All right, I don't think they're present. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to have to ask you a series of few questions about your 3 cases to determine whether you're entering a guilty plea freely, willingly, and voluntarily. First of all, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood what's going on with regards to all these 4 cases brought against you?
Yes, I do.
And in your discussions with your attorney, are you prepared to enter a guilty plea to these charges freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, I'm satisfied.
All right. And Mr. Robinson, has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not be brought back to a court of law in the future. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that's brought against you, be able to have the assistance of counsel to present your arguments and defenses, and have the prosecutor carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, I am.
Once I impose a sentence, there is no right to file an appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
And by pleading, are you listening, sir?
I'm listening.
By pleading guilty to a battery family violence, which means that any future arrests for a similar offense can be a felony charge.
I understand.
All right. With regards to the battery family violence charge from April 25th, 2024 on position 48, how do you plead?
Guilty.
With regards to the battery family violence charge on position 49 from July 23rd, 2024, how do you plead?
Guilty.
With regard to the battery family violence charge on position 50 from May 6, 2024, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. Your sentence will be concurrent for all these 3 charges, and it's going to be 12 months to serve 100 days, credit for time served 10 days. The remainder of the time will be placed on probation. Your bench warrant will be dismissed. If you have no other holds at the Fulton County Jail, you should be released within 24 hours. You must report to the Fulton County Probation on Monday, December 16th, 2024, before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will complete a domestic violence intervention program, and you must enroll in that program within 45 days of being released, and you must attend all 26 weeks of classes without skipping any classes, and make sure you pay for those classes. You're also not allowed to own or possess any firearms anytime. Understood?
I understand very clearly, Your Honor.
You are to stay 200 yards away from Cheryl Brown and James Branford, and you're to stay 200 yards away from 899 Park Street in Southwest Atlanta. This sentence will apply to all three cases. With regards to position 48, is 12 months to serve 24 days, credit for time served 12 days. With regards to position 49, is 12 months to serve 100 days, credit for time served 10 days. Count 2 will merge with count 1. And with regards to position 50, is 12 months to serve 100 days, credit for time served 10 days. And count 2 will merge with count 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can we go to AC/DC next?
All right. Let's see. Deputy Francois, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
All right. With regards to the folks who are at Fulton AC/DC, good morning. My name is Judge Law. We are addressing a plea and arraignment calendar for misdemeanor cases today, December 12th, 2024. When I address each of your cases, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during this virtual recorded proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Deputy Francois, who should we address first?
It's going to be position number 5 and 6, Ms. Brown.
All right. And what are the other positions?
I'm sorry?
What are the other case position numbers?
I
Ms. Brown,
also
you can
have
come and be seated. All right. What are the other position numbers? 5 and 6, and what
I have
else?
also position number 28 and also position number 41.
Thank you.
Can you turn that down?
This is State versus Jennifer Brown. Ms. Brown, you have one case 24 CR 5432A, accused of theft of services from August 2nd, 2024. We have another case that has been pending against you, and this is 24 CR 007176A, also of theft of services. And you also have a bench warrant from October 24th, 2024. With regards to all three matters, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Bartel. Right, Mr. Bartel, how are we proceeding?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, this is going to be a waiver. Ms. Brown does deny the allegations, so we're entering a not guilty plea on the cases. Will waive arraignment. We would ask to be heard on bond, Your Honor. It looks like it's $1,000 good bond on the FTA that's showing. We would ask that the court consider a signature bond on that. It looks like the date of the failure to appear was October 24th. I looked in Odyssey, and it looks like a notice was sent out, but it was returned. And Ms. Brown says that she never got a notice. She was living at the 450 Piedmont Avenue address at the time. The address was sent out with an apartment number on it, or the notice was sent out with her apartment number, 719. But for whatever reason, it was returned, and she says that she did not get that notice, which is why she does not know about the court date. She is enrolled in a cosmetology program. She does have classes on Friday, and she's concerned about not being able to continue that if she's still in jail. So we would ask the court for a signature bond.
All right, Ms. Falk?
And right, PD Bartels, can I hear that address again?
It's 450 Piedmont Avenue, and it's number 719.
Okay, that is the address on the notice.
And I don't know why it was returned, but apparently it was.
Well, let's see.
And it was returned twice, Your Honor. Well, actually, I take that back. The 9/17 date was, it says return to sender, but that's a different document when you pull it up.
Yeah, there were two arrangements.
Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, that is correct. She was ordered to plea an arraignment on September 26, 2024, which she missed, and it was returned to sender, and then ordered to plea an arraignment October 24th, 2024, and it was returned to sender.
Does it say why it was returned to sender? I didn't see any.
Right. It's usually only returned to sender if the address is not correct. And there were 2 notices sent out, both returned.
And the address do include her apartment number, although it's not on the Odyssey, so. All right, Mr. Bartel, do you have anything to verify that that is a correct address?
Well, I did Google that address and her name came up on the white pages as being associated with that address. That's all I can tell the court.
Who is the owner or landlord of that property?
It's a townhouse, they're called townhouse apartments. They're right there at Piedmont by the Civic Center.
No, that's not what I asked. I asked who is her owner or landlord or roommate or co-occupant that can verify that's where she lives.
Were you living by yourself, Ms. Brown?
And she might, I'm the leaseholder, so my mail is sent to that particular address.
All right. For some reason, there's a problem with her mailbox at the apartment complex. We have the correct address. I'm still not getting why it's a problem with the court's mailing system.
Well, it sounds like it might have been a problem with the post office, Judge. They do
Twice?
from time to time.
Either that or the person to whom it's being sent does not live there anymore. I don't know. I'm speculating here.
Yeah.
So
You were living there. Were you living there on October 24th?
Initially, when I was excuse me, when I was transported from Cobb County to Fulton County, when I spoke with the person that checks the system, I inquired as to why there was a warrant, because I have supervision, and I had met with my PO, and I specifically asked about a court date at least twice before the end of my visit. And at the time, my PO hadn't known of any court date. She said she would let me know when the court date was. But when I spoke with that particular person at the Fulton County Jail, they said that there was a notice that was sent to my house. However, the apartment number wasn't included, and they asked me to verify what the mailing address was. And when I verified what the mailing address was, they said the apartment number wasn't on there and that I should make sure when I'm released that the address is verified. And I said to that particular person, I made sure before I walked from the jail that they had my correct address.
Well, the apartment number was on the notice, Ms. Brown. The problem is the system is showing that it was still returned. The apartment number was on there, it was just returned.
all
And I
right.
still haven't heard Miss Brown say, I live at that address.
That's the address where I get my mail.
So
All
you
right.
do not live there.
I don't walk in and sleep at that particular location each night. That's the address where I pick up my mail.
Bond modifications denied. If Miss Brown can give us a particular address where she is available to go pick up her mail, where she lives there, where there's a person that she can rely on to pick up her mail, that's helpful. But at this time, I'm not completely convinced that this is an issue with the mail not being delivered. This is a question of whether the mail was accepted or was rejected and returned back to sender. Bond modification is denied. Thank you.
So I'll get that waiver out, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Brown, if you want to give us a good valid address, please update it with the jail staff. And it's got to be an address where not only you receive mail, but where it will be rejected, where you'll be available to pick it up, or someone you rely on can pick it up. But don't give us these weird addresses where you receive mail, but you're not there. That doesn't work. That does not work.
It isn't a bogus and a weird address. That is the place where I do pick up my mail. You can ask any other staff that works there. That
All
is the
right,
place where I
Mr.
pick up my
Bartel,
mail.
Mr. Bartel will do the due diligence and find out, because right now I'm not convinced that's your correct mail address. Thank you. Next case, please. Oh, position 28.
Number 28, Miss Manuel.
This is State versus Aisha Manuel. Miss Manuel's got position 28 and 29. 28 is a bench warrant for failure to appear in court on March 14th, 2018. And position 29 for Miss Manuel is a simple battery charge from July 2017 for case number 18 CR 003-100Y. Ms. Manuel, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Bartel. Mr. Bartel, what are we doing in this case?
State hasn't.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was specifically told to interrupt Mr. Bartels if I had something positive. So
Yes,
the
you
state
were.
will enter null pros on both of these cases.
All right. Ms.
Thank you.
Manuel, the prosecution is dismissing both of these charges. If you have no other holds at the jail, you should be released within 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, like I said, Ms. Falk, that still stands.
And then we have position 41.
This is Miss Premack.
Okay, this is Esther Premack, 24 CR 7859J. Ms. Premack has got 3 separate misdemeanor charges: simple assault, simple battery, and public indecency from August 21st, 2024. Ms. Premack, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Bartel. Mr. Bartel, how are we proceeding?
This is a negotiated plea, Your Honor. We are aware of the allegations and will stipulate to venue and ID on a factual basis.
All right. Ms. Premack, this is going to be a negotiated plea. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Okay. Ms. Polk, what's the recommendation?
Your Honor, if I can just look at one of the charges, we may have to amend in a positive way the simple assault. Okay, so on count 1, we had 12 months concurrent with count 2, but that's actually going to be merged with count 2. On count 2, we have 12 months served 28 days, credit for time served 14 days from November 29th of 2024 to today, balance probated. No further contact with Yash Sonar. Stay away from 311 First Drive in Atlanta, 12 weeks anger management, ADET, no firearms. Count 3 will be 12 months concurrent with count 2. So that's just going to be a total of the count 2 sentence, which is the 12 months served 28 days, credit for time served 14 days with the anger management, ADET, stay away, and no further contact. We would like to sound for Mr. Yash Sonar. And we do ask the defense, well, the defense is already stipulated. So that's
And
all
Ms.
for the state.
Ms. Polk, count 3 will merge into is concurrent to count 2?
Yes, count 3 is
Okay.
concurrent to count 2, but count 1 merges.
Merge, okay.
Okay, I got it.
So, Mr. Bartel and Ms. Premack, that means that that there are only 2 charges that we're considering right now, which is simple battery and public indecency. Ms. Premack, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
You need to speak up, ma'am.
No, Your Honor. No.
Okay, and have you understood what's going on in your case so far?
Yes, so, what's going on with the other charge?
So there were 3 original charges. The state is agreeing to merge one of them with the simple battery. So that reduces it from 3 to 2 charges, which are simple battery and the PI charge.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So do you have an understanding of what's going on?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to these 2 charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence in a court of law, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of public indecency?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Repeat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I can't make out what you're saying. How do you
The
plead?
plea. I just spoke up. I apologize. The plea. I'm agreeing to the plea. I'm agreeing to the plea that was.
Guilty or not guilty?
Is what's attached to the plea on.
If
Uh,
you to it, it's a guilty.
Ms. Primack, this is a plea hearing in which your attorney and you have, after conference, you've decided to accept the recommended sentence in exchange for you to plead guilty to the 2 charges. Now, if you don't want to plead guilty, you definitely have a right to a trial. So after I've asked you all those questions about waiving your rights and so forth, did you still want to have a trial?
No, Your Honor, I plead guilty.
Count 1 will merge into count 2. For count 2 is 12 months to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days. Her jail time is concluded. If she has no other hold, she'll be released within 24 hours. She must report to the Fulton County Probation Office on Monday, December 16th before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will enroll and complete 12 anger management classes, and you must enroll in those classes within 45 days of being released. And you will attend all 12 weekly classes at your expense. Within 7 days of being released, you must seek the services of a healthcare provider and do an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. And you are not allowed to possess or own any firearms. With regards to count 3, that will be 12 months concurrent with count 2. You must report to probation every month, and please make sure that you stay 200 yards away from 311 First Drive, and you stay 200 yards away from Yash Sonar. Thank you.
And Your
Thank you, Your
Honor,
Honor.
we would ask if probation could either terminate or go non-reporting when she finishes with the ADET and the anger management classes.
Ms. Falk, any objection?
I just need to look at her history really quickly, and I'm not agreeable to termination, but let me look at her history really quickly and see if non-reporting is something I can agree to.
I think this is the only case I found in Fulton County.
She's got 11 cycles.
I was just looking for any cycles of violence, Your Honor.
Okay.
And she does have, it looks like she's a multi-state offender. But I don't see any cycles of violence. So yes, we can agree to not early termination, but non-reporting.
Okay. Ms. Primack, the prosecutors agreed that once you complete your anger management classes, once you complete the alcohol and drug evaluation and all treatment that's required, and your probation fees are up to date, then your probation will be non-reporting. You would still be on probation, but you won't have to report after all these conditions are completed.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. All right. Francois, do you have any more cases?
No, that's it, Judge. We're completed here at ATDC.
Thank you. Returning back to courtroom 2. Next case, please. Thank you, Mr. Bartel.
Your Honor, can we do the Spanish interpreter case?
Sure. Our Spanish interpreters on Zoom?
Your Honor, I still need to speak to him.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, I didn't know.
No problemo. Is our Spanish interpreter on Zoom, please?
I believe it's Adriana Reyes, right? She's a victim. Oh, she's a victim?
I don't see anyone. We have private counsel, Mr. Hudson. Mr. Hudson, who's your client?
Good morning, Judge Dante Hudson. My client is Anthony Wright Jr. I'm not sure. My calendar says.
How do you spell your client's last name? Oh, Mr. Hudson, your Wi-Fi is frozen. Got to find a better word for frozen. paused. Okay. Quorum 2, who do we have, please, in courtroom, as soon as Mr. Hudson rejoins us? Mr. Hudson, I'm sorry, your Wi-Fi got frozen. That's the best word I've got. So, is your client WRIGHT? Oh. All right. Ms. Champion, can you, or Mr. Jordan, can you chat with Mr. Hudson indicating that I don't know whether he's got audio with us? Mr. Haddad, who do you have seated next to you?
Position 44 and 45, Mr. Rigby.
Okay. This is State versus Melvin Rigby, accused of criminal trespass from February 24, 2024, and case number is 24 CR 9078. Excuse me. Mr. Rigby, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is going to be Mr. Haddad. How are we proceeding, Mr. Haddad?
It's a negotiable plea.
Mr. Rigby, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Paul?
Yes, Your Honor. On position 44, the criminal trespass, the state's recommendation is 12 months served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. That's going to be from February 24th, 2024 to February 27th, 2024 and December 2nd, 2024 until today. Balance suspended. Stay away from Five Below, located at 3612 Marketplace Boulevard in East Point. On position 45, the state will be entering a null pros upon the acceptance of this plea. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
We stipulate, Judge.
Mr. Rigby, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to do so, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. There will be no opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass at Five Below?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance suspended. This case is now closed. However, if you return to that Five Below store in East Point at Marketplace Boulevard, you get to come back to jail. It's that easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Good morning again, Judge. This is Dante Hudson. Is this a better connection?
Yes. What's your client's last name? Was it Wright? W-R-I-G-H-T?
That's correct, Judge.
All right. I don't have a Wright on my. Oh, we have it on the bench warrant calendar, and that's at 11 a.m.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I saw the.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you then. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Courtroom 2, who do we have next?
It's going to be position number 16, Mr. Robert Gofan.
Mr. Haddad, how are we proceeding with Mr. Gofan?
That's Mr. White's, Tom's case, Judge.
All right. Mr. White, good morning.
You have no audio.
Mr. White, could you give me an audio check? 1, 2, 3 or ABC?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, ABC.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. This is 24 CR 7874A. Mr. Robert Gofan accused of loitering and prowling on November 29th of this year. Mr. Gofan, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Mr. Tom White. Please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
State's recommendation, Your Honor, is 12 months served 60 days, credit for time served 11 days from November 29th, 2024 until today. Balance probated. Stay away from 290 MLK Grant Platform Apartments and an anti-theft course. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea.
Your Honor, so stipulated, we just asked you waive 2 months of probation fees. He is currently homeless. He does have some family help, but it may be a minute before he can get that together. So we'd ask that you waive the first 2 months of probation fees and allows probation to terminate upon completion of the course.
I'll wait the first 2 months. My only concern is he's already on probation for another theft case in
Okay.
24 CR 7083A. So he's already got an ongoing probation case. And then the other matter is it still accurate that he has an open felony case in South Carolina as pending
Oh.
extradition?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
That's already handled, Ms. Mom, in South Carolina.
Mr. Goffin, just,
So does Ms. Falk or Mr. Jordan, do we have any comment about that?
Checking
There
the
was-
jail screen, Your Honor.
there was no hold listed on his jail screen, Judge.
That is correct. The only thing that's listed is the loitering and prowling.
Okay. Mr. Goffin, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
Have you understood what's going on in your new loitering and prowling case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with the legal services you've received?
I am, Your Honor.
How many probation cases will you have now? Open probation cases.
I'm unaware besides this one and
Will be two now.
Okay, two now.
With this one, it'll be 2 open probation cases.
Probation case, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And if you don't report, we'll bring you back to jail. Simple as that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Goffin, has your attorney explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not get a chance to confront your accuser in a court of law, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your own arguments or defenses with the assistance of counsel, and have the prosecutor prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Freely, willingly, and knowingly, yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 1 count of loitering and prowling?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
With regards to this new case, your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 11 days. You still have additional time to serve at the jail. Once you've completed the additional time, you'll be released and placed on another probation case. You'll report to probation within 48 hours of being released, and make sure you let probation know that you're reporting for a second case. I will waive your probation fees for the first 2 months for this new case. I'm not waiving it for the other case. You are to stay away from 290 Martin Luther King Grant Platform Apartments, and that's just not the leasing office, that's the entire apartment complex, which includes their gates, their sidewalks, their parking lots, their driveways, everything. You cannot be anywhere near that apartment complex. Within 45 days of being on your new probation case, you must show proof that you have enrolled in an anti-theft class. You'll pay for the class out of your own pocket and make sure that you complete the class. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case?
Next is 21, 22, 23, and 24. Mr. Hopkins. Robert Hopkins. Hey, somebody else talk again in a second.
Robert Hopkins has 4 separate cases on our calendar this morning. Mr. Hopkins, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Tom White. Mr. Hopkins, you have 2 theft by shoplifting cases and 2 bench warrants. The shoplifting cases are 22 CR 6332E from January 2nd, 2022. And the second one is 24 CR 1270E from September 4th, 2022. Your bench warrants are 24 FTA 1895 and 1899. The first failure to appear was from June 17th, 2024. Well, both of them were from June 17th, 2024. This is going to be a negotiated plea, Mr. White.
It is, Judge.
Mr. Hopkins, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. On position 21, state's recommendation is 12 months served, 48 days. Credit for time served, 24 days. That is from May 3rd to May 17th of 2024 and December 4th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, anti-theft course, 40 hours community service. Stay away from the Walmart located at 1105 Research Center in Atlanta. Position 22 is going to be 12 months served, 18 days. Credit for time served, 9 days. That's from December 4th, 2024. Balance probated, a $500 fine. Stay away from Walmart Research located at 1105 Research Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And then the remaining 2 cases should be the failure to appear. The state will null pros those upon the acceptance of this plea. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
Your Honor, we do stipulate. The only request we have is that you convert his $500 fine to an additional 50 hours of community service, which would give him a total of 90 hours of community service.
Any objection, Ms. Falk?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. The $500 fine on position 22 is amended to 50 hours of community service. Mr. Hopkins, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, I haven't.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, I do.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, I am.
And after your discussions with your attorney, are you prepared to enter a plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, I am.
So these are 2 separate counts of theft by shoplifting. I don't know if you've got any prior theft by shoplifting convictions on your record, but you understand that if you have 3 or more shoplifting convictions on your record, any subsequent arrest can be deemed to be a felony charge.
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you still prepared to move forward with this plea?
Yes, I am.
In order for me to accept your plea, you would have to waive your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge evidence that's brought against you, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. These are rights that you could have if you go to trial in a court of law. However, if you choose to enter a plea, you would have to waive these rights. Are you prepared to do so?
Yes, I am.
How do you plead to 2 counts of theft by shoplifting, respectively on positions 21 and 22?
Guilty.
For position 21, the sentence is 12 months to serve 48 days. Credit for time served 24 days. Balance probated. For position 22 is 12 months probation to serve 18 days. Credit for time served 9 days. Balance probated. For both these cases, Mr. Hopkins, you will report to probation on Monday, December 16th, before 3 p.m. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. For both these cases, while you're on probation, you will complete an anti-theft class. You must enroll in the anti-theft class within 45 days of being released. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, I do.
And you must complete the class at your expense. You're also to complete 90 hours of voluntary community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. So you can go to organizations such as Goodwill, Atlanta Food Bank, Salvation Army, and so forth, but not a church and not a school. Understood?
Yes.
And you must complete your community service at a minimum of 10 hours per month. So you must start with 10 hours per month and continue with a minimum of 10 hours per month. At all times, You are to stay away from the Walmart at Research Center in Atlanta, Georgia. If you return to that Walmart, you will be arrested again and brought back to jail. Do you understand, sir?
Yes,
You
I do.
cannot go back to the Walmart at Research Center. You cannot be on the sidewalk, in the parking lots, at the back, and definitely not in the building. All right, thank you. The bench warrants will be dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we have position number 26, Mr. LaFrance Hewley.
This is Mr. LaFrance Hewley, accused of criminal trespass from November 29th of this year, 24 CR 7870E. Mr. Hewley, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Mr. White. How are we proceeding, sir?
This is a negotiated plea, Judge.
Mr. Hewley, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Miss, I heard a yes. Thank you. You can put your hand down. Thank you. Miss Paul?
My apologies, Your Honor. Is this LaFrancia
26,
or
yeah.
Rodarius?
26, LaFrancia.
Thank you. The state's recommendation is 12 months or 45 days, credit for 13 days. That's going to be from November 29th, 2024 until today. Balance probated. Stay away from the Circle K gas station located at 100 Lakewood Way, Atlanta, Georgia. We would actually need to amend that balance probated to balance suspended. That's all for the state. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea.
We do stipulate, Judge, he understands he has another 10 days in jails.
Thank you. Mr. Hewley, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol? You have to say yes or no clearly. I can't make out what you're saying.
No.
Thank you. And have you understood what's going on in your case?
No. Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
Okay. And has it been explained to you that if you decide to enter a guilty plea to this criminal trespass charge, you will not get the opportunity to have a trial? You will not go back to court. You will not be able to confront your accuser. You won't be able to challenge the evidence that'll be brought against you. You and your attorney will not be able to present your defenses and arguments in a courtroom. And the state, the prosecutor, will not have to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 45 days, credit for time served, 13 days. You have 10 more days to serve at the jail. Once the 10 days are completed, then the remainder of the time will be suspended. Do not return to the Circle K gas station at 100 Lakewood Way. You're not to return to the gas station, to the parking lot, to the sidewalk. You cannot be anywhere near that gas station. Do you understand?
All right. Okay.
Okay, that completes your plea. Thank you.
Position number 32, McCray.
This is State versus Michael McCray. Mr. McCray is at the medical unit. Would that be correct?
Correct.
All right. For the two individuals who are in the medical room, my name is Judge Lal. We're going to be addressing each of your cases. Please remember you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say during this proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. So don't say anything. If you have to ask any questions, ask your attorney. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Mr. McCray has got a theft by receiving stolen property charge from November 27th of this year under accusation 24 CR 7852Y. Mr. McCray, your attorney is going to be Mr. Haddad. Mr. Haddad, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, that'll be a negotiated plea. The only request is a non-reporting upon completion of all the conditions. So I forgot to ask Ms. Falk that.
Okay. Ms. Falk, what's the state's recommendation and if you've considered non-reporting?
State's recommendation, Your Honor, is going to be 12 months served, 34 days, credit for time served 17 days from November 26, 2024 until today. Balance probated, stay away, no further contact with Nina Sandifer, stay away from the victim's residence, and stay away from 794 Juniper Street Northeast in Atlanta. We are also requesting an anti-theft course. As far as the defendant's criminal history, it appears as though he has, let's see, 15 cycles. That includes a recent arrest for financial transaction card theft in March of 2024, an aggravated assault in October of 2024. That was a conviction. Violation of family violence order in 2021. State does not agree to make that non-reporting or early termination.
All right.
Based on his history.
Understood. We're ready. We're still ready for our plea, Judge.
All right. Mr. Haddad, do you so stipulate?
We do, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. McCray, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And as you've just heard, you are required to report to probation every month. There will be no non-reporting and there will be no early termination. Are you still willing to move forward with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to plead to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not get the chance to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present your arguments and defenses through counsel in a court of law, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of theft by receiving stolen property?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 34 days, credit for time served 17 days. You will report to, if you have no other holds, you will report to probation on Monday, December 16th before 3 p.m. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will enroll in an anti-theft class within 45 days of being released, and you must complete the class at your expense. At all times, you're to have no contact with Nina Sandifer and to stay away from 794 Juniper Street in Northeast Atlanta. You're required to report to probation every month until your 11 months of probation is completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Who do we have, please?
Number 31, McCaffrey.
This is Terrence McGathy, accused of criminal trespass and willful obstruction from November 28th of this year. Mr. McGathy, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Haddad under accusation number 24 CR 7851F. This is going to be a plea as well. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Full?
Your Honor, which position is this?
3-1.
Thank you. The state's recommendation on the criminal trespass is going to be 12 months, serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. That's going to be from November 28th, 2024 to today. We are also asking for balance probated, stay away from 550 Peachtree Street Northeast, which is the Emory University Hospital in Midtown, unless the defendant is seeking medical treatment. We are also requesting 40 hours of community service. We are amending this plea based on some additional negotiation between PD Haddad and myself. On count 2, the willful obstruction of law enforcement officer, that's going to be time served, 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. This is the case that we discussed by email. Is that correct, PD Haddad?
It is.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So, Your Honor, that would conclude the state's recommendation, we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. And again, just to discuss the differences in what's on the sheet versus what we've agreed to, we're changing count 2 to time served so the defendant can avoid the $300 mandatory fine. But in order to do that, I have added 40 hours of community service to count 1, the criminal trespass.
Mr. Haddad, have you had a chance to discuss the amendment with your client?
We discussed it yesterday, Judge, with the anticipation that that might be a possibility. So we're ready to pursue the plea.
All right, and do you so stipulate?
We do.
Mr. McGathy, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Oh, ma'am.
I'm sorry, was that,
I said no, ma'am.
that was no?
Yes. No.
Okay, I got it. Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you'll be required to do 40 hours of community service while on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter this plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not go back to a court of law to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present your defenses and arguments, and the state will not have to carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of criminal trespass at Emory University Hospital and 1 count of obstruction of an officer?
Guilty.
On the criminal trespass, it's 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Balance probated. You will report to Fulton County Probation at 132 Mitchell Street, and that will be on Monday, December 16th before 3 p.m. While on probation, you are to stay away from 550 Peachtree Street, which is the Emory University Hospital. You're only allowed into that hospital if you have a verifiable appointment with a physician or a healthcare provider there, or if you're seeking emergency medical treatment. Otherwise, you're not allowed to be on the property. Understood?
Understood.
You're also to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. And you must complete a minimum of 5 hours per month. With regard to count 2, the willful obstruction, that's going to be time served to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Thank you. All right, courtroom 2, do we have anyone we can address?
Your Honor, this is going to be position number 19, Mr. Harris, Demetrius Harris.
And Deputy, were these individuals in the courtroom when I was reading in the rights?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is Demetrius Harris, accused of theft by taking from July 16th, 2024, accusation 24 CR 7687J. Mr. Harris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Haddad? No, Mr. White, excuse me. This is going to be a plea. Mr. Harris, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Polk?
Yes, Your Honor. My apologies. I had to look at something else really quickly. Which position is this?
19.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on position 19, which is Mr. Demetrius Harris, the theft by taking is 12 months served, 36 days. Credit for time served, 25 days. That's going to be from November 16th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, stay away from the Spotted Trotter located at 229 Moreland Avenue Southeast. There is restitution to the victim in the amount of $1,315.17. We are also requesting an anti-theft course. The state would ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
Okay.
Your Honor, we do,
Sorry, Mr. White, go ahead.
yes, Your Honor, we do stipulate for the purposes of the plea. We would ask that you waive 4 months of probation fees so that can be applied to the restitution for the victim. I think he could probably get it done in that amount of time, and then we ask that probation terminate once he completes all of his requirements.
What was his job before he was arrested?
I'm not sure, Judge.
All right. Mr. Harris, where were you employed before you were arrested?
Various staffing agencies.
Okay. I will waive 3 months of probation fees, and he'll need to get employed during that 3 months as soon as possible so that he can work on the restitution, work on the probation fees, and also work on the anti-theft class. Would you still like to continue with the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Harris, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a plea to this theft by taking freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
So you know that if you enter this plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. There will be no opportunity to go back to court to confront your accuser, to be able to challenge the evidence that'll be brought before you, to have with the assistance of counsel to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to theft by taking at the Spotted Trotter?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 25 days. The remainder of the time will be on probation. While you're on probation, you're not allowed to return to the Spotted Trotter at 229 Moreland Avenue in Southeast Atlanta. While on probation, you're also to enroll in an anti-theft class within 45 days of being released, and you must show completion of that class to your probation officer. There's also the issue of restitution to the Spotted Trotter. I'm assuming that's the victim, Ms. Falk?
That is, Your Honor.
Okay. The restitution is $1,315.71. You'll start making payments to your probation officer, who will then remit the funds to the victim. And these payments must be a minimum of $75 per month. And you can make it more if you want, but towards the end of the year or towards the end of your probation, you must make sure that your entire restitution is paid off. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, probation reporting is on Monday, December 16th before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Ms. Falk,
Your Honor.
probation is asking for the victim's contact information.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. White? Oh, and probation fees are waived for the first 3 months.
Your Honor, he's not getting out right away. He has another hold.
Where?
Sorry?
Where's the hold?
Here in Fulton County, Judge.
Oh, okay. In that case, then probation will be suspended until he's released, and then he'll need to report to probation within 48 hours of being released. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please hold.
Fucking talking to.
We've only got immigration. It
Mr. Jordan,
It takes a while, as you know.
as I know. Mr. Jordan, we have attorney, Mr. Rajote, who is coming up to the clerk's office to discuss resetting his traffic case from December 16th, 2024 to the first available traffic date after January 9th, 2024. So you can either speak to Ms. Patricia Lewis or to you or anyone in charge of those calendars. And the defendant's name is ABERHA. All right?
Thank
Good
you
luck,
again,
sir.
Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, moving on to medical. Who do we have, please?
Number 55, Derek Sharp.
This is State versus Derek Sharp, accused of theft by shoplifting from November 14th, 2024. Case number 24CR7865Y. Mr. Sharp, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you at the present time is Mr. Haddad. This is going to be a plea, so could you please raise your right hand for the purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Polk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months served, 32 days. Credit for time served, 16 days. That is from November 27th, 2024 until today. Balance probated in an anti-theft course, $500 fine, and stay away from marshals located at 5932 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. That is all for the state.
We stipulate, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Sharp, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that, sorry, this is 32. And has it been explained to you that if you enter this plea, you won't be getting a trial in this case?
Yes,
You will
ma'am.
not get a chance to confront your accuser, challenge evidence that'll be brought before you, and
Yes,
have the
ma'am.
state have to prove the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just highlighting some of the rights. Did you understand that you'll have to waive these?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting?
Yes, ma'am.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days, balance probated.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
will be on probation from Monday, December 16th, and that's where you have to report to probation before 3 p.m. on that day. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta.
Yes,
While
ma'am.
you're on probation, you have to stay away from the Marshall store at 5932 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. You know where that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Cannot go back to that store.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
You got to also complete an anti-theft class, and you have to enroll in that class within 45 days of being released. You also have a fine of $500, and you
Yes,
must
ma'am.
pay that fine at a minimum rate of $50 per month.
$50 a month?
That's right.
Yes, ma'am. I got you.
Well, the total is $500, so if you say
Yeah.
$50 a month,
Yes, ma'am. I got you. I got you.
you've already been in custody for over a month, so that's not much time.
Okay, I got you.
All right. If you want to pay more, you're more than welcome to pay more.
No,
That's
I
the
don't want to
minimum.
more. No, I don't want to no more.
All right. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Do I have any holes on me?
Oh, that's a good question. Mr.
Judge,
Haddad?
we talked about it yesterday. I checked this morning. He does have a hold from DeKalb County. That's what it shows, so.
All right. So in that case, if there's a hold in DeKalb County will come pick you up. And once you have resolved your case in DeKalb County, then you will have to report to Fulton County Probation within 48 hours of being released.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's where all this will begin.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Medical, we good? We got one more? Okay.
I have Wayne Tripp, number 58 and 59. 59, needs to be gonna do.
Your Honor, still need to speak to Mr. Trek. He
All
was
right.
not brought over yesterday when I came.
All right. Medical, is there a way that Mr. Haddad can reach to your office to speak with the defendant?
Breakout only,
I'm sorry?
breakout session only.
Breakout? Well, yeah, it's not going to be possible unless Mr. Haddad, you have a separate
Yeah.
spot and a separate device.
I have my own, my Zoom, Judge.
Do you want to do a breakout from your device?
That'd be fine, Judge. I don't wanna throw anybody down.
All right. Just let me know. You need to reposition yourself, join the Zoom, and we can put you in a breakout with medical. Is the next case yours also, or is that Mr. White's?
It's Mr. White's case, Your Honor.
All right. Who do we have?
This is position 14 and 15, Mr. William Gibson.
This is William Gibson. Mr. Gibson has two separate cases before the court. Position 14 is 24 CR 7846J, in which he's accused of violation of a family violence order from November 4th of 2024. Position 15 is one count of battery, family violence, and one count of cruelty in the third degree from October 3rd, 2024, under accusation 24 CR 7256J. Mr. Gibson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is presently Mr. Tom White. Mr. White, this is going to be a negotiated plea.
It is, Judge.
Mr. Gibson, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on count 1 is 12 months served 60 days, credit for time served 18 days. That's going to be from October 24th to October 25th of 2024 and November 27th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Kiana Tinch. Stay away from 57 Hardwick Street Southeast, Family Violence Intervention Program, 40 hours of community service, and absolutely no firearms. Count 2 is going to be 12 months concurrent with count 1. We would at this time like to sound for Kiana Tinch, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jordan, can we place Mr. Haddad and medical into a breakout, please? Medical, you'll see a message on the screen, I think. Yeah. It's either going to be Ms. Champion or Mr. Jordan to do the breakout. Okay. Mr. White, do you so stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for both the cases involving William Gibson?
We do, Your Honor. We just ask that probation fees be waived for the first 3 months, and that his probation go non-reporting once he completes his requirements.
All right. There's a gentleman walking around. Can we please stop his video and we can address him when his case is ready? All right. Mr. Gibson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in both your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with the legal services you received so far?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter this plea, one of the convictions will be for battery, family violence. Has it been explained to you that any subsequent arrest for a same or similar offense will automatically be a felony charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still willing to move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter such a plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in a court of law before a judge or a jury. You will not be able to confront your accusers, be able to challenge the evidence that'll be brought before you in a courtroom, be able to have the assistance of counsel to present your arguments and defenses, and have the prosecutor carry its burden and prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
With regards to position 14, how do you plead to violating a family violence protective order?
Guilty, ma'am.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 16 days. You'll be on probation and you'll report to probation on Monday, December 16th. You'll report to probation when you are released, and you are to have no contact with Kayana Tinch and stay away from 57 Hardwick Street in Southeast Atlanta. With regards to position 15, how do you plead to battery, family violence, and cruelty in the third degree?
Not guilty.
Repeat.
Not guilty.
All right. Mr. White, it appears your client wants to have a trial.
No, I
Your
got them mixed up. Guilty. Sorry about that.
You got guilty and not guilty mixed up?
I meant to say guilty. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
All right. So you are pleading guilty to battery, family violence?
Yes, ma'am.
You're pleading guilty to cruelty in the third degree?
Yes, ma'am.
Your sentence on the battery charge is going to be 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 18 days. You have additional time to serve at the jail for this charge. As I indicated, once you have completed this additional jail time, then you will report to probation within 48 hours of being released. And that would be to complete your requirements for both the previous case and the current case. While on probation, again, you are to have no contact with Kiana Tinch and stay away from 57 Hardwick Street in Southeast Atlanta. If you wish to have any kind of visitation with the child or children that you share with her, you must file a legitimation action and get a superior court order to establish any kind of joint visitation or custody and so forth. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you cannot just go visit the child. You need a court order from a legitimation action. Are you and I on the same page about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Within 45 days of being released, you will enroll in a qualified domestic violence intervention program. And that's a program of 26 classes. You must pay for those classes out of your own pocket, and you attend those classes once a week until all 26 classes are completed. You're also required to do 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and not a school. And you will complete your community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. At all times, you're absolutely prohibited from owning, possessing, or having any firearms near you. If you own any firearms, they must be surrendered to the authorities within 7 days for destruction. Any questions, Mr. Gibson?
Yes, ma'am. When do you think I will get out? What date?
It's 12 days from the day, as we discussed, the 23rd or 24th.
I was just making sure, sir.
So
Okay.
you'll be either released on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Can we go back to number 58 and 59, Mr. Tripp?
My house is
Mr. Haddad, how are we proceeding with Mr. Tripp?
Don, it's gonna be negotiated, please.
Mr. Wayne Tripp and medical. Okay, there he is. Mr. Tripp, my name is Judge Law. Please remember you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say during this recorded proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Haddad will be representing you. You have two cases before us, one charge of battery under case number 24 CR 1260Y from March 15th, 2024, and you have a bench warrant for failure to appear under 24 FTA 1890. With regards to both cases, this is going to be a negotiated plea. Please please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Polk?
Yes, Your Honor. On position 59, the state's recommendation is 12 months served, 60 days, credit for time served 14 days. That will be from March 16th to March 19th of 2024 and December 3rd of 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Sylvester Williams, stay away from Mr. Williams' residence, 12 weeks of anger management, and no firearms. We would at this time like to sound for Mr. Sylvester Williams. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of this plea. And we also have agreed to null pros position 58 upon the acceptance of this plea. That is all for the state.
Mr. Haddad, do you so stipulate?
Stipulate, Judge.
Mr. Tripp, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on in both your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am. But let me ask you about the anger management. Why do I do that?
Why do you what?
Anger management class?
Yeah.
Well.
What about it?
He's asking where he does it.
Oh, there is a list of anger management schools that your probation officer can give you. And you can pick which one you want to go to.
All right.
So going back to your case, if you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be able to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 14 days. You have additional time to serve at the jail. Once you've completed this additional time, you'll then be released, but you must report to probation within 48 hours of being released. While on probation, you will complete 12 anger management classes, and you must enroll in those classes within 60 days of being released. You're also not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms. At all times, you are to stay away from Sylvester Williams. You're not to communicate with him in any way, form, or manner, and you're to stay away from wherever he lives, works, or wherever he's physically standing. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That concludes your plea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge Law, is there attorney on for Christopher Middleton, position number 33?
Is there private counsel or conflict counsel for Middleton? Please unmute and start your video.
Judge, I'm not sure who it is. I spoke to Mr. Middleton yesterday. He said that he has a private attorney. I think that was the same announcement last week, Judge. So that's where we left it off. I can really speak to him.
Is Christopher Middleton at medical?
No, I didn't grab him yet because I wasn't sure, because I know we did, experience that on last week.
We can bring him so they can speak to Mr. Haddad.
He's not gonna refuse.
He's what?
He usually refusing. He said his son was getting him a paid lawyer.
So he's refusing to come. All right.
Your Honor, just to make an announcement on the record, PD Haddad is correct. This was reset on December 5th to December 12th to hire a private attorney. As of today's date, according to the clerk record, no attorney has filed an entry of appearance.
All right. Mr. Haddad, I can reset this to, and the next date will be December 19th.
I mean, that's fine, Judge.
All right.
We'll try again.
All right. Good luck. Thank you. Middleton's case is reset to position courtroom 2.
Position 25, Mr. Ugly. This is Maureen McLeod's client.
Miss McLeod, I did see her.
She's on.
Miss Maureen McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, you're available. Okay, good.
Yes.
We have one of your clients in courtroom 2.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Hoogley.
Okay. This is Roderius Hughley, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. McLeod, how are we proceeding? Oh, so this
is going to be a negotiated plea this morning, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Roderius Hughley is accused of battery family violence from November 17th, 2024, under accusation 24 CR 7688Y. Mr. Hughley, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. McLeod. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Mr. Hughley, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on the family violence, well, actually, let me preface that with Ms. McLeod, is the defendant agreeing to the plea on position 25 and the add-on, or just position 25? Okay, thank you. So, Your Honor, on family violence battery case, the recommendation is 12 months or 48 days, credit for 24 days. That's from November 17th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Nidrikia Hughley, family violence intervention program, and no firearms. On the add-on case, which is 23 CR 004407Y, that is a simple battery family violence. The recommendation is 12 months probation, served 10 days, credit for time served 5 days. That is from July 13th to July 17th of 2023. Balance probated, no further violent contact with Micaiah Driggers, family violence intervention program, and no firearms. The completion of the family violence intervention program on one case will satisfy it for both. We would like to sound at this time for Micaiah Driggers and Nidrikia Hughley, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea.
We do so stipulate.
All right. Ms. McLeod and Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a third case? 22?
There is, Your Honor.
And what's going on with that one? Is that a co-defendant case?
It is a co-defendant
Your Honor.
case.
So we're leaving that alone.
That is correct, Your Honor. They actually, our office moved to have that case joined, and it was granted. So the state was unwilling to move forward on that case.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Hughley, we are addressing 2 of your cases with the State Court of Fulton County. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
So you understand that we are addressing 2 of the cases that you have pending,
Yes, Your Honor.
although there are other cases pending against you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. With regards to the 2 cases presently before the court, have you understood what's going on so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you entering a plea to the charges in both cases freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that in entering this plea, you would be giving up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not be going back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought against you, have the assistance of counsel to present your arguments, defenses, and any mitigating factors, and also to have the state carry the burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Repeat.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead? To 1 count of battery, family violence?
Guilty. Guilty.
I heard guilty. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to simple battery family violence under case 23 CR 4407Y?
Guilty.
Repeat.
Guilty.
That's a lot.
On the battery family violence, the sentence is 12 months to serve 48 days, credit for time served 24 days, balance probated. You are to have no contact with Nidrikia Hughley, and you are to complete a domestic violence program. You will enroll in that program within 45 days of your first reporting date to probation. With regards to the simple battery family violence, it's 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served 5 days, balance probated. You are to have no further violent contact with Micaiah Driggers. You're also required to do a domestic violence, but you can do the one set of domestic violence cases to apply to both cases. In both matters, you are absolutely not allowed to own any firearms, have any firearms near you, or be in the same home with you. And you are to report to probation within 48 hours of being released from your cases. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, just really quickly, Ms. McLeod, do you have anything on the 11 o'clock calendar?
No,
Okay, great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Medical, who do we have?
6061, Mr. Tubbs.
This is Thomas Austin Tubbs. Mr. Tubbs has got 2 matters on our calendar today. The first position is 24 CR 6251F, in which he's been accused of battery family violence from September 2nd of this year. The second case is 24 CR 7868F, in which he's accused of theft by shoplifting from November 29th, 2024. Mr. Tubbs, you've been advised you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you today is Mr. Haddad. This is going to be a negotiated plea. Please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. On Mr. Tubbs' case, the state's recommendation is on position 60, the family violence battery, 12 months served, 44 days, credit for time served 22 days. That is going to be from September 3rd to September 5th, 2024, and September 16th, 2024 until September 20th, 2024, and then from November 29th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Alexandria Hayes, stay away from 1075 Admiral Crossing in Alpharetta, family violence intervention program, and no firearms. On position 61, the theft by shoplifting, the recommendation is 12 months served, 28 days, credit for time served 14 days. That is from November 29th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, stay away from all Target store locations, a $500 fine, and an anti-theft course. We would like to sound at this time for the victim in position number 60, Miss Alexandria Hayes, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
Mr. Haddad, do you so stipulate?
Stipulate, Judge.
All right. I don't see a Miss Hayes on the Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tubbs, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Have you understood what's going on in both your cases?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
I am, Your Honor.
If you decide to enter a plea to both these cases, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not have the opportunity to confront your accusers, challenge the evidence that would be brought before you, have the assistance of counsel to present your arguments, defenses, and any mitigating factors, as well as have the prosecutor carry her burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
I have ALS, Your Honor. I am absolutely prepared at time.
I didn't understand your response.
I do. I understand.
How do you plead to 1 count of battery, family violence, and 1 count of theft by shoplifting?
Guilty, Your Honor.
On the battery charge, your sentence is 12 months to serve 44 days, credit for time served 22 days. You will report to, if you have no other holds at the jail, you will report to the Fulton County Probation on Monday, December 16th, before 3 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
For the battery charge, while you're on probation, you're to have no contact with Alexandria Hayes, to stay away from 1075 Admiral Crossing in Alpharetta, Georgia, to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 45 days of being released and attend and complete all 26 weekly classes, and you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms around you. The sentence for the theft by shoplifting is going to be concurrent, which means that you report to probation for both cases at the same time, with the addition that you stay away from all Target stores and that you pay a $500 fine at a minimum rate of $50 per month. You're also to enroll and complete an anti-theft class. You must enroll in that class within 45 days of being released. With regards to the theft by shoplifting, it's 12 months to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days. Any questions, Mr. Tubbs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 20, Mr. Jalen Harris.
I need to speak with Mr. Harris.
All right. Is there a number that Mr. White can call at the jail? If someone can put it in the chat?
22392.
22392. Okay.
Mr. White, please, yeah. If you'd mute your screen, that'd be great. Thank you. Do we have a case for Mr. Haddad in courtroom 2?
It's going to be position number 52, Mr. James Ross Jr.
All right.
That's gonna be a plea, Judge.
Yes, sir. This is State versus James Ross Jr., accusation 24 CR 7861E. Mr. Ross, you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Haddad. Mr. Ross was accused of criminal trespass at Marta and sale of a Marta token. I understand this is going to be a negotiated plea. Sir, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation on the criminal trespass count 1 is 12 months served 46 days, credit for time served 15 days. That will be from November 28th, 2024 until today. Balance suspended. Stay away from all MARTA property. On count 2, the sale of a MARTA token, we'll just go ahead and make that time served instead of 12 months concurrent with count 1. So he's already served 15 days in the jail, so that will just be time served, 15 days. The state would ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
Thank you.
We
Mr.
stipulate it.
All right. Mr. Ross, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to have a trial. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to criminal trespass and sale of a MARTA token?
Yes,
On the criminal trespass, your sentence is 12 months to serve 46 days, credit for time served 15 days. After you have served the additional time at the jail, your balance will be suspended and you'll be released, but you are required to stay away from all MARTA property in accordance with any and all active suspensions against you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The sale of a MARTA token is time served for served 30 days, credit for time served 15 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 27, Mr. Carl LaVenture.
Ms. Paul? Other than that. Ms. Falk,
Sorry about that. I had to address someone in the courtroom. What was that position number again?
Position 27.
27, okay. This is Carl LaVenture, accused of terroristic threats and acts from November 2nd, 2024. Mr. LaVenture's case number is 24 CR 7848F. Mr. LaVenture, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Haddad. This is going to be a plea. Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on position 27 is 12 months served, 106 days, credit for time served 53 days. That will be from November 2nd, 2024 until today. No further violent contact with Anna Bryan. We have removed the 12-week anger management provision. The defendant is currently under sentence and is ordered to have an MHET as part of a felony sentence, which he just entered. The state asked the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. We would sound for Anna Bryan. She is, I believe, jail staff. So, but in case she is here, out of an abundance of caution, we would like to sound for her.
Ms. Bryan, Officer Bryan? All right. So just to clarify, this is to serve 106 days, credit for time served 53 days, balance suspended?
Yes, Your Honor, because the only provision would be no further violent contact.
All right, thank you. Mr. Haddad, are these the terms to which your client has agreed, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, Judge, to both questions.
Mr. LaVenture, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Very. Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be going back to a court of law to confront your accuser, challenge evidence that be brought forth by the state, to be able to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor. And I apologize for the trouble that I caused the staff. But I've never, just for the record, I never said that. Well, yes, Your Honor.
Well, we accept your apology. Thank you so much. But in the meantime, how do you plead to one count of terroristic threats and acts?
Guilty.
All right. Your sentence is 12 months to serve 106 days, credit for time served 53 days, balance suspended. You're to have no violent contact. No, that means no physical and verbal altercations with Anna Bryan and every single member of the Fulton County Rice Street Jail facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Later tonight.
Yeah, just smile like that. No altercations. That'll be good. Thank you.
Make sure to report to probation.
Good. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Next, Your Honor, we're going back to position number 20, Mr. Jalen Harris.
Associated plea.
Thank you. Mr. Jalen Harris is 24 CR 7760F, simple battery and fair evasion of the charges from November 21st of this year. Mr. Harris, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Mr. White. May I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to speak up, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We have a court reporter on Zoom, so that's why I want to make sure that she hears you and that she's able to report exactly what's being said. All right. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
State's recommendation, Your Honor, on count 1, the simple battery is 12 months served 60 days, credit for time served 14 days. That will be from November 21st, 2024 until today, balance probated, 40 hours of community service, no further contact with Cherry Courtney, stay away from all MARTA stations until December 21st of 2025. On count 2, the fare evasion, that will be time served. My apologies, that should be 28 days. Credit for time served, 14 days. The state would ask the defense to stipulate to manufactual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea, and we would like to sound for Miss Cherry Courtney.
Your Honor, we do stipulate, just ask you to accept the plea as negotiated and allows probation to go to non-reporting once he completes his requirements.
All right. I have a Courtney on Zoom. If this is this is Cherry Courtney, you are free to comment on the recommended sentence.
My apologies, Miss Cherry.
Yes,
Courtney Cherry.
Is Courtney Cherry? Okay. Miss Cherry, if you want to start your
ma'am.
video, or the host could prompt you.
Yes, ma'am, as it started.
I can't see you.
Yes,
There we
ma'am.
go. Okay. Do you have anything to add?
I would like to know if there's going to be any type of fine or anything that he would pay any community service he would have serve and
I'm sorry, Miss Courtney, your Wi-Fi is not very stable. I couldn't understand your question.
She was asking for about a
I
fine.
would like to know does he have any type of fine or anything that he would have to serve or any
He would, yeah, so let me repeat what the recommendation is. He needs to serve additional time at the jail, so he won't be released for at least, is it 14 days?
He has served 14 days and it is a 60-day sentence. So he would have another 16 days to serve.
16 days. He would have to serve an additional 16 days at the Fulton County Jail. After that, he'll be on probation. Every month, he has to report to probation and pay probation fees. He has to complete 40 hours of community service with a nonprofit agency. He's to stay 200 yards away from you and not communicate with you in any way, form, or manner. And he's to stay away from all Marder property in accordance with any active suspension. So currently it's until December 21st, 2025. So for at least the next, this coming full year, he cannot be on any Marder property, buses and trains and stations.
and if he returns, what happens?
And if he returns and the police are alerted to the fact, they will arrest him and his probation can be revoked and he can end up serving the rest of the year in prison.
Okay.
So
Thank
you, Ms. Cherry.
Mhm.
And if you have any further questions, feel free to text me in the chat or you can reach out to our office and speak with one of our victim advocates.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. White, you've asked for it to be non-reporting, Ms. Folk?
No, Your Honor, that I am basing that on Mr. Harris's history. Let me pull that up just so I can kind of give Your Honor an overview. I believe there is a history here, which was why I asked for additional jail time. Okay, Your Honor, there is not an additional history, but Mr. Harris does have a current outstanding case, it appears, in Detroit. Let me also just check one more thing. And that's all.
All right. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'm just having to refresh my documents. Okay. Okay. So this is at the Sandy Springs, Peachtree, Dunwoody. All right. Okay. Mr. White, I will agree to non-reporting probation once he's completed his 40 hours of community service and is up to date with his probation fees.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, and I'm sorry, Mr. White, did you so stipulate?
We do, Judge.
All right. Mr. Harris, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently? And courtroom 2, please unmute. Thank you.
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case so far?
Yes,
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
yes, like I'm new to Atlanta, so like I don't know like where I can do my.
We'll get to that.
Oh.
He's new to what? I'm sorry, Mr. White.
He said he's new to Atlanta. He didn't know where he'd be able to do his community service, and I told him we'd get to that.
Oh, okay. Well, being new to Atlanta, I guess that's the first thing you have to do is figure that one out. But in the meantime, with regards to taking this plea, are you entering a guilty plea to the simple battery and fare evasion at Marta willingly, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that if you enter this plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to go back to a courtroom, to confront your accuser, be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, present your own arguments and defenses, and have the prosecutor prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to simple battery and fare evasion?
Guilty.
Your sentence for the simple battery is 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 14 days. You have 16 more days to serve at the Fulton County Jail, after which you will be on probation. You will report to the Fulton County Probation within 48 hours of being released from the Fulton County Jail. And the probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you'll be required to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service. You can ask your probation officer for a list of nonprofit companies that you can avail yourself to do the community service. You just cannot do it at a church and you cannot do it at a school. Those are the two places where you cannot do community service. But Salvation Army, Goodwill, Atlanta Food Bank, Animal Rescue are just some of the examples. You are to have no contact with Courtney Cherry. That is the MARTA staff member. You have to stay 200 yards away from Ms. Cherry and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You're also to stay away from all MARTA businesses, including the buses, the trains, the stations, the parking lots, and the sidewalks, as well as their facilities. You cannot enter any of the MARTA properties until December 21st, 2025. With regards to fare evasion, it's going to be time served to serve 28 days, credit for time served 14 days. After you have done your community service and you're up to date with all your probation fees, your probation may be non-reporting. That would save you on probation fees, but if you violate any of the conditions I have set forth, your probation can still be revoked and you'll be back in jail to serve out the rest of the year. Understood?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can we put courtroom 2, the Spanish interpreter, in a breakout?
Yes. Is our Spanish interpreter on Zoom?
Yes. It should be Miss Chancey.
There she is.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right. And let me see, is courtroom 2? Oh, there.
Right here, Your
I got it. I got it. Yeah, I'm looking. Okay. Mr. Haddad, do you represent the defendant?
I do.
All right. Mr. Jordan or Ms. Champion, could you place Ms. Chansey in courtroom 2 in a breakout room, please? All right. Mr. Haddad, if we can just go over the calendar with, oh, Mr. Haddad's in a breakout. Mr. White, would you be able to go over the calendar just to see what we've got left? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Position number 1, Travis Bell, and that's position number 2. That is Mr. White, and this is going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 3 and 4 is reset to December 19th. Position 5 and 6, this was a waiver of arraignment and a further notice for trial. Bond modification was denied. Position 7 and 8, Joshua Cook, is going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 9, Mamadou Diallo, is reset to December 19th. Along with position 10, reset to December 19th. Position 11, Marquis Dixon, is going to be a waiver. That's position 11, 12, and 13. And that's going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 14 and 15, Mr. Gibson, were pleas. Position 16, Mr. Gofon, was a plea. Position 17 and 18, I gather that's the case that Mr. Haddad's speaking with?
No, Your Honor, this is a different case and the
Oh,
state.
okay. You're asking?
The state is asking to reset this. We had asked to reset it to 12/19, not to 12/17, because he has another court appearance on the 17th.
Any objection to 12/19, Ms. Fultz?
No, Your Honor, but on position 14, is that, I don't know, I don't believe we addressed that case.
That's William Gibson, the gentleman with the big white beard.
Yes.
Right. I know. I just don't think I put the recommendation on the record for the violation of the protection order.
We did.
We did. It was 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for assignment 16 days, no further contact with Kayana Tinch, and that runs concurrent with the battery family violence.
Understood, Your Honor. Maybe I didn't mark it off on my calendar. My apologies.
That's okay. With 61 cases, some of it slips through the brain cells, so no problem. All right, so position 17 and 18, that's going to be reset to December 19th.
That is fine, Your Honor.
Position 19, that was a plea, along with position 20, and position 21 was a plea. Position 22 was a plea. Position 23 was null prost. 24 was null prost. 25, Rodarius Hewley was a plea. 26 was a plea. 27, LaVenture was a plea. 28, Aisha Manuel was a null pros, along with 29. Both cases were null pros. Position 30, and that was Miss Mundy McCaw. Has that been transferred?
So, Your Honor, the DA's office accepted transfer of this case. I then forwarded them the transfer order to sign. I have not yet received their signed transfer order. So if we could reset this to the 19th, just to allow me time to submit the transfer order from the DA's office, but I do have the written confirmation of the DA's office that this case has been accepted.
All right, this is reset to December 19th, pending an imminent transfer. 31 was a plea, 32 was a plea. 33 Middleton is reset to 12/19 to speak with PD. No private attorney has filed an entry of appearance. Jonathan Milton, position 34.
Your Honor,
That's good. Yeah, go ahead.
My apologies. If we could bring if it's possible to bring Mr. Milton down, I can submit a recommendation to the defense. The DA's office declined transfer of this case.
Who are we talking about? Jonathan Milton? or
Jonathan
Middle-
Milton, position 34.
Well, we can ask the jail whether they have Jonathan Milton available. Because I have reset to December 19th. But that was pending a possible transfer.
That
Okay.
is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's move on to Solisha. Well, that last name with beginning with N. That's going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Milton is 34 through 37, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So position 38 is reset, a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Checking on Mr. Haddad. Yasmin Persons, 39 and 40. What are we doing there? This is going to be reset to December 19th at 11 a.m. So that's going to be reset to a competency calendar, December 19th at 11 a.m. 41 Primac was a plea. 42 Jose Reyes, that's a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 44 was a plea. 45 is null pros. 46 Jonathan Rivera is released, so that's further notice. Orlando Robinson was a plea. 47, I'm sorry, is also released. So that's further notice. 48 was a plea. 49 was a plea. 50 was a plea. 51 was null prost. 52, James Ross was a plea. 53, Vincente Santana.
I believe
that
that's the
is-
case that Miss P.D. Haddad is speaking with his client.
Yeah, that's 53 and 54.
We're back.
We're back.
Okay. And let me see. Derek Shop was a plea. Stanford was a plea. That's 56. 57, Antoine Stanford was null pros. 58, Tripp was null pros. 59 was a plea. 60 was a plea. 61 was a plea. All right, moving on to position 53 and 54. Ms. Chansey?
Yes,
please
ma'am.
raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you translate will be a true and accurate interpretation with no changes or embellishments?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Right. Sorry, let me move all these panels around. All right. This is State versus Vincente Santana, who's got two separate cases before the court today.
Este es el caso, la Fiscalía contra Vicente Santana, que tiene dos casos separados ante este tribunal hoy.
Mr. Santana, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you say during this Zoom proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you.
Señor Santana, usted tiene el derecho a guardar silencio sobre los hechos de este caso. Cualquier cosa que usted diga en este proceso en Zoom, sus declaraciones pueden y serán usadas en su contra.
You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Presently, your attorney is Mr. Haddad.
Usted tiene el derecho a ser representado por un abogado y si usted no puede pagar por uno, se le asignará uno para que lo represente. En este momento, su abogado ese es el señor Haddad.
You are accused of criminal trespass and possession of drug-related objects under case 23 CR 7477C.
Usted está acusado por allanamiento de morada y tenencia de objetos relacionados con el uso de droga bajo el caso 23 CR 7477C.
And you are accused of theft by shoplifting and obstruction of an officer under case 24 CR 7869C.
Y usted está acusado por robo de tienda y obstrucción a la autoridad bajo el caso 24 CR 7869C.
Mr. Haddad, how are we proceeding?
¿Cómo
Honor.
seguimos?
This will be a negotiated plea, Judge. There's been a change in the state's recommendation. Ms. Falk, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. We'll take the new recommendation on the email, but it's based on your email.
Yes.
Este ha sido
Mr. Haddad.
un convenio declaratorio. Ha habido un cambio en la recomendación de la Fiscalía también y lo siento, pero quería aclararlo y vamos a aceptar esa recomendación enviada por email.
All right. Mr. Santana, please raise your right hand.
Señor Santana, por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
¿Jura solemnemente o afirma que la declaración que usted va a dar será la verdad, lo mejor que usted a su criterio?
You need to respond yes or no.
Tiene que contestar sí o no. Yes, I do.
All right.
Chelsea, can you tell him to talk loud? Let him know he has to talk loud.
All right. Mr. Santana, when you answer the questions, you need to speak loudly so that we can record your response.
Señor Santana, cuando usted conteste las preguntas, usted tiene que hablar en voz alta para que podamos grabar su respuesta.
All right. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for both cases?
Señora Falk, ¿cuál es la recomendación de la sentencia para ambos casos?
Your Honor, on position 53 for counts 1 and 2, the recommendation is 6 months in jail, credit for time served 14 days from November 29th, 2024.
Su señoría, en la posición 53 para los cargos 1 y 2, la recomendación es de 6 meses en la cárcel, crédito por el tiempo servido, 14 días desde noviembre 29 del 2024.
On position 54, counts 1 and 2, the recommendation is 6 months jail, credit for time served 14 days from November 29th of 2024 to run concurrent with position 53.
Y en la posición 54, los cargos 1 y 2, la recomendación es 6 meses en la cárcel con crédito por tiempo servido de 14 días desde el 29 de noviembre del 2024 para cumplirse de manera concurrente con la posición 53.
The defendant currently has a ICE hold, and that is the reason for the modification.
El acusado tiene una detención del Departamento de Inmigraciones y esa es la razón por la modificación.
Mr. Haddad, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Señor Haddad, ¿usted acuerda con el fundamento, la jurisdicción y la identificación?
We do.
Sí, su señoría.
Mr. Santana, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Señor Santana, ¿ha consumido usted algún medicamento o alcohol recientemente?
No.
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your 2 cases so far?
¿Ha usted entendido lo que está sucediendo en los 2 casos suyos hasta ahora?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the legal services and the attorney that you've spoken with?
¿Está usted satisfecho con los servicios legales y el abogado con quien usted ha hablado?
Sí.
Yes.
If you decide to plead guilty to these 4 charges against you, you will not get the opportunity to go back to a courtroom and have a trial in front of a judge or a jury.
Si usted decide declararse culpable a estos 4 cargos en su contra, usted no va a tener la oportunidad de regresar a la sala de tribunal y tener un juicio en frente de un juez o jurado.
While in the courtroom for trial, you will not get the opportunity to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought before you, have your attorney help you to present your defenses and arguments, and also the state will not have to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Entonces, mientras en un juicio usted entonces no tendrá la oportunidad de carear a los quienes los acusan, usted hará que su abogado lo represente con sus defensas y alegatos, y también la fiscalía no tendrá que comprobar los cargos en su contra más allá de una duda razonable.
Have you and your attorney gone over these waiver of rights?
¿Ha repasado usted con su abogado esta renuncia de uso de derechos de ir a juicio?
No.
No.
Did we go over, remember, we went over whether you want to plead guilty or not? That's what the court is asking you.
Repasamos, ¿se acuerda cuando repasamos si usted quería declararse culpable o no? Eso es lo que la jueza le está preguntando.
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
Are you prepared to waive these rights?
¿Está usted preparado para no usar su derecho de ir a juicio?
Sí.
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of possession and use of drug-related objects and criminal trespass?
¿Cómo se declara usted ante un cargo de posesión y uso de objetos relacionados con las drogas?
Do you plead guilty or not guilty?
¿Se declara culpable o inocente?
Culpable.
Guilty.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of an officer?
¿Cómo se declara usted ante un cargo de robo de tienda y obstrucción voluntaria a la autoridad?
Culpable.
Guilty.
For both the cases, your sentence is going to be to serve 6 months, credit for time served 14 days, and you'll be released after you've completed the 6 months at jail.
Para ambos casos, su sentencia será servir 6 meses, crédito por tiempo servido 14 días, y después que haya completado los 6 meses en la cárcel, usted será puesto en libertad.
The sheriff of Fulton County will give you the credit as they deem appropriate.
Y el sheriff del condado de Fulton le dará sus créditos como él considere apropiado.
And then you will be released to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Después usted será entregado al Departamento de Inmigración y la ejecutación de leyes de aduana.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Deputy, is it possible to get position 34, Mr. Milton, Jonathan Milton? It appears, oh, Ms. Chansey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day, Your Honor.
You too, thank you. It appears that his case will not be transferred and the state is prepared to make an offer.
Okay, I'll go get him. Just give me about 10, 15 minutes.
No problem. I think I have a couple of bench warrants on my competency calendar. I have a question from someone about position 43.
Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation? I'm sorry, on Milton.
I am sending you the recommendation now. I'm just working it up.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Mr. Hudson, we're going to get started with your client's case. Shanti
Thank you,
J, the disposition on 43, that's Jose Reyes. That's waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. That's part of position 42 and 43. Okay. All right. We have Mr. Attorney Dante Hudson here representing Anthony Carnell Wright Jr. Is Mr. Wright present?
Judge, good morning again, Dante. Mr. Wright is not present. So here is our situation, Your Honor, if you will indulge just for a minute. Mr. Wright, he is currently in jail in Clayton County. He's been incarcerated in Clayton County since November 28th of this year. I actually walked with Mr. Wright to Clayton County to turn himself in on a warrant that was taken out by his teenage daughter. On the very next day, his bond was denied because of the failure to appear. That is the subject of our case. And so I've been retained to represent him in this matter as well. And I filed a motion to set aside the bench warrant here because it appears that he did not receive his notice back in 2023. And Clayton County, they are not allowing him to get a bond with this FTA warrant still outstanding. I just received an email from the district attorney in Clayton County. They are willing to consent to a bond, but this matter needs to be handled also. So that's where we find ourselves.
All right. So it looks like there was a return to sender. It was sent to his public defense counsel, 160 Prior Street. That's Miss Giddings. That was the notice that was returned. Was there a return to sender from this address?
There was a return to sender on May 4th, 2021.
Okay.
Notice was sent to 646 Roxbury Drive in Riverdale, Georgia. And then the notice was returned. The case was then transferred to Orca. Another notice was sent in April of 2023. That was the notice that was sent to Miss Giddings. And then another notice was sent in May 30th of 2023 that was returned to sender at that 646 Roxbury Drive, Riverdale, Georgia address.
All right. I only have a McClellan Avenue currently. Has that been changed?
Is this for Anthony Wright, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Yep. That's the address that we had, that the notice was sent to in 2021 and in 2023.
Okay. So, Mr. Hudson, I'm a little perplexed. If Roxbury Drive did not work in May of 2023, what was the reason?
So the Roxbury Drive address, that was the resident of Mr. Wright as well as the alleged victim in this case. And so after this incident, he left.
And he didn't update us with the new address.
He did not update the new address, Judge, and I've had that conversation with him.
Okay, understood. Ms. Falk, any response?
Yes, Your Honor. It's not a simple matter of him not updating his address one time. He didn't update his address for 3 years. As a result of that, that is why he had a bench warrant. He was given several opportunities to update his address. Notice was sent in 2021, in 2023 to that address that was on file. And that notice was returned solely due to the inaction of the defendant. As far as his history, Your Honor, he has a 2007 terroristic threats that was not presented to grand jury, a 2000 arrest for simple battery that was then later dismissed, 2010 burglary case where he received first offender and completed first offender, probation violation in 2013, and then the simple battery arrest in 2020. So this is not an individual who's unfamiliar with the court system or unfamiliar with his responsibility to update his address and to receive notice for where to appear for court. For that reason, the state would ask that the bench warrant remain in place.
All right. Mr. Hudson, anything to add?
Yes, Your Honor. I just I don't know what the benefit would be for the bench warrant remaining in place. He has retained my services to resolve this matter as well as the matter in Clayton County. I am presenting to the court my assurances that he will appear for all future hearings regarding this case. I have been in contact with the victim in this case, and I'll have a presentation for the prosecutor in due time. But at this point, he is not able to get a bond in Clayton to appear in Fulton so long as his warrant is in place. And again, I'm just giving my assurances to the court as an officer of the court that he will appear at all future hearings and have this case resolved as quickly as possible.
All right. I'm going to set aside the bench warrant, and this is simple battery domestic violence. Once he's released from Clayton County, I'm going to require him to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program. He will enroll in a DVIP within 30 days of being released from Clayton County. And he will need to file the certificate of completion with the, in this particular case. So Mr. Hudson, once you get the certificate, please make sure it's filed with this court. I guess 6 to 8 months from today.
Yes, Judge, thank you.
All right, please submit a proposed order setting aside the bench warrant, requiring defendant to enroll in a DBIP and maintain no contact with the victim, stay away from victim's address.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm Janice Dillard. Whomever the host is, they kicked me out. Is this in regards to Anthony Wright?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. I'm not really sure what was said before. I was allowed back in, but I hear that there is I guess a motion for him to stay away. I would like to, I guess, if possible, place my input. Anthony Wright is the son of my child. We co-parent, and as far as his parents—
Anthony Wright is the father of your child? I think
Yes,
you said son of your child. I think, okay, I understood what you meant, but.
He's the father of my son.
Okay, how old is your son?
My son is 5. I have
5 years old.
Yes, I have another son who is 2 years old. He's not the father of my second son.
But what's the deal with the 5-year-old?
He's a very active parent in both of my children's lives. We co-parent with all 3 of the children. He has a daughter who I've taken in as a stepdaughter. We have a son together, and then I have a son outside of him that he also is a father figure to him.
All right, please stop. Yeah. Mr. Hudson, please make a note that as soon as Mr. Wright is released, he's to file a legitimation action with regards with any regards to any child or children that he shares with Miss Janice Dillard. Okay. And that any visitation, parenting plan or anything will be established by the Superior Court.
What? May I ask, why are we having to go through that? We don't have any issues.
If I may, just very briefly, Mr. Wright and I have talked about this issue as well, Judge. Once he is released, he will do the domestic violence intervention program. And I've also consulted with him regarding legitimation and parenting plans.
All right.
So all of that on the table.
All right. Sounds good.
So
Ms. Dillard.
So
Ms. Dillard.
Yes.
He's got a simple battery family violence case against you. I mean, with you as the victim. And now he's in Clayton County Jail. I am going to have him make good with his children by making sure he legitimates them, sets forth a parenting plan, and also set forth his child support obligations. That's what I'm going to require him to do, whether you like it or not. Do you understand?
I hear you.
Okay. You're free to go.
That's bogus.
And again, that's what he wants to do, Judge, and so we're going to make
And
sure
I
that.
applaud that. Thank you so much, Mr. Hudson. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. So on position 2, Mr. Hudson will submit a proposed order. Michael Grubbs. Michael Grubbs. Jasmine Ponder. Jasmine Smith Ponder. Y'all need to start your video, but leave your video on mute. And Michael Grubbs. Alea Searles. No. Yeah, Alea Searles.
Yes, yes, Your Honor, Aaliyah.
All right, you need your video on. Oh, you're in a very dark room or your video is not, there we go. Okay. All right, this is State versus Alea Aisha Searles, case 22 CR 5481F. Ms. Searles was accused of battery family violence from August 14, 2022. Mr. Grubbs, you have a case in which you are accused of battery family violence from August 31st, 2024. And your case number is 24 CR 6189C. Is there a Jasmine Ponder? She needs to, well, eventually she'll join us. Both of you, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you. Ms. Searles, who's your attorney?
Your Honor, I've already spoken to Ms. Searles. My understanding is that she was arrested on the bench warrant and made a new bond, so there is no longer a bench warrant for her.
All right, so this bench warrant has been closed.
Yes.
And Ms. Searles, make sure that you maintain a current address with the courts at all times, phone, email, and everything, so that you avoid any future bench warrants. Thank
Yes, Your
you.
Honor.
Good luck. You're free to go.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, I've also spoken to Mr. Grubbs briefly. I apologize. I was working off the wrong DV bench calendar somehow. And so I've been scrambling this morning, but, and I still have yet to speak to Miss Ponder. I did see that she was on and I did direct message her to call me, but we can handle her after we do Mr. Grubbs' case.
All right. So Michael Grubbs is present via Zoom. His case is 24 CR 6189C, and he has a failure to appear, excuse me, from December 2nd, 2024 before Judge Dixon. It looks like his bond was forfeited by court order on December 5th, 2024. Yes, sir. Let me see. Yeah. Yes, Mr. White, what are we doing?
Well, we're asking that you set aside the bench warrant or forfeiture as it is at this point. His court date was moved up from the 6th to the 2nd. And he's been in contact with pretrial. He misunderstood the date. He thought he was still on the 6th. There was some confusion, but we do have a good address for him. This was just, what, a week ago. So a little over a week ago. He's here today. He's on pretrial. He's been reporting as they've requested, and he was in contact with them, and that's how he kind of realized that he missed the court date. So we'd ask that he set aside the bench warrant and give him one more chance.
Ms. Polk?
Your Honor, pretrial could confirm that he has been reporting.
Mr. York or Ms. Hardy?
Do you have a case number?
Yes, it's 24 CR 006-189C.
Okay, one moment, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
While we are waiting, Ms. Jasmine Ponder, you will need to unmute and start your video.
And Your Honor, when we're done with Mr. Grubbs, I've got to have a brief breakout with Ms. Ponder.
Oh, you're more welcome to. I'll be in my 11 o'clock breakout. So while I'm there, please try your best to get her to respond.
Is she still not responding?
She's not responding. Courtroom 2, any update on Mr. Milton? Or
I did just miss a phone call. Maybe that was her trying to call me.
okay.
And Your Honor, just to let PD Haddad and PD White know, I did send the recommendations on Mr. Milton.
Milton? Okay.
And Your Honor, I'm about to respond, Ms. Falk, to your email.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just sent it now, Judge, but I think there's
Thank
a
you.
good possibility we'll be able to resolve both, all the cases, this morning, Judge.
All right, we've already gone through the run-through. Mr. White can go with that with you, but I'm still waiting on pretrial with regards to Mr. Grubbs. Ms. Ponder is awake now, so Ms. Ponder, please get out of bed and go to a chair.
Yes, ma'am. I'm out of bed.
All right. All right, Ms. Ponder, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney if you cannot afford one. And attorney Tom White will be speaking with you shortly with regards to the bench warrant issued in your case, 24 CR 4417C. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Hardy? Has Mr. Grubbs been reporting?
Yes, he's been complying with pretrial.
State has no objection to lifting the bench warrant.
All right, Mr. Grubbs, the bench warrant issued by Judge Dixon is going to be set aside, and your original bond is going to be reinstated, which was the $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. You will still be required to complete your anger awareness classes if you have not done so, and that would be with pretrial. You're also to maintain no violent contact with the alleged victim. Please remember to keep up to date with your dates, because if you fail to show up in court, this is what happens. And the next time you may be reporting to the jail instead of getting a set aside. All right, thank you. You're free to go. Mr. White, if you could please submit the proposed order. Thank you.
Certainly, Judge.
All right. So Grubbs set aside. This was closed by thing.
If
Yeah.
Ms. Ponder can actually just call me, that would be easier than doing a breakout. I put my number in her chat.
Well, she's disappeared from the screen again, so I know. Mr. Grubbs, you're free to leave the Zoom unless you have a question. Okay. Ms. Jasmine Ponder, where's your video? All right, you deal with her, Mr. White. I'll be in my breakout with,
Right here.
all right.
Ms. Ponder.
Go ahead. Oh, wait,
I'm-
one second, Mr. White, 1 second. Mr. Jordan, please place Ms. Falk, myself, Mr. Paul Bartel, Kasha, and who else needs to be in the 11 a.m. breakout? Oh, I guess courtroom 2 in a breakout too.
And Ms. Ponder, I sent you a direct message with a phone number to call. If you could give me a call at that phone number.
678.
No. There is a phone number that I sent you in your direct message. If you could call that phone number, please. That way you don't have to give your number out over YouTube. Do you see that?
I'm looking now. No.
Okay, fine. Just give me your phone number then, if you're comfortable with that. Hello?
678
Uh-huh.
856
Yep.
0246.
All right, I'll give you a call in just a second.
All right, Mr. White, Ms. Ponder.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Ms. Smith Ponder has failed to appear in court twice and returning to 24 CR 4417C. She apparently has failed to appear in court twice, was on a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. And let me make sure.
I did not know about the other.
Let me see. I'm so sorry.
I had it one time.
I'm going off memory, so I may be confusing the case. Hang on. I have a December 4th, 2024 bond forfeiture set aside, bond, oh, maybe that might have been the motion that was filed. So it was November 4th, 2024, before Judge Dixon.
That's what she said, that she missed that.
Yeah, November 4th, yeah.
Right. And she did not know of the court date. The way she found out about the court date was that, from what I gather, her daughter is a cross defendant in the case. The public defender's office called her about that case, and that's how she became aware of missing the date. She does have a good notice, a good address, and so we're not really sure why she didn't receive notice, but she said she did not actually receive notice, and she hasn't missed court on this case before. She did go down to the courthouse and address the issue, check to make sure the addresses were correct. We'd ask that you set aside the bench warrant and give her one more opportunity to make court.
Does she have her bond order? Ms. Ponder, do you have your bond order?
Ma'am,
Do you have your bond order?
my bond order?
Yeah, the order where you were given a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Okay. Miss Hardy, has Miss
You mean
adjustments? I just want to make sure that you've complied with the bond order.
the parent class?
Yeah.
Yes, I did 2.5. The reason why I did 2.5 is because they had my daughter court day on the same day I had class, so I was only there half of a day. And the fourth time I missed it because I didn't know what day it started. So I did 2.5. They gave me 4 days, full class to do. I completed 2.5.
All right. Miss Hardy, do you have any record of her attending any of those classes?
According to the notes in Odyssey, it says that there was a class that was missed on October the 15th, 2024.
All right. And then she missed court on November 4th, 2024. So Ms. Ponder, that's not a good track record. Ms. Folk, any comment about setting aside the bench?
That's why I missed court because they had my daughter's schedule.
I know, I've already got that part. I've already
Ms.
got that part. Thank you. Ms. Folk?
Yes, Your Honor. I was going to inquire. I did see that she had a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, and I was going to go through the same inquiry I did with the previous defendant who had been reporting to pretrial. It appears that, and I to understand, Ms. Hardy, that she has been reporting to pretrial. She just did not attend the family violence course.
No, she was not ordered to do that.
My apologies. I thought there was an order on here. Oh, complete a parenting class within 120 days of release. So let me amend that. Miss Hardy, has she been reporting to pretrial as well as the requirement that she had for the parenting class?
The only thing that I'm showing in the notes is about the parenting class. I'm not sure
about whether she's been reporting.
Right.
So, Your Honor, the state.
It doesn't say she hasn't been reporting. And the fact that they made a note that she missed one of the classes tends to say that she is reporting, and she still, the order was within 120 days That time is not expired at this point.
Yes, it has, November 5th. The order was July 5th, 2024.
I've got, I'm sorry, Judge, I looked at the wrong date.
That's okay.
But she said she did do
She's
2.5.
been trying. She's been trying to finish it. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Falk?
Just to say the state does not necessarily object to lifting the bench warrant on this.
All right. Ms. Ponder Smith Ponder, we're going to set aside the bench warrant. You're going to continue to report to pretrial once a month. Do you have that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're required to complete all remaining parenting classes before the end of January 31st, 2025.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
And please, you yourself, keep in touch with the Public Defender's Office if your daughter is not giving you your messages. Because the next time you fail to appear, you'll be taking a trip to Rice Street Jail.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. White, please set aside, submit a proposed order setting aside the bench warrant.
I understand, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Smith Ponder, you're free to go.
Okay. Have a blessed day.
You too. Mr. Haddad? Yes, sir. Do we have Mr. Milton there?
Yes, Judge. I have been in negotiations with Ms. Falk. Still requesting the anti-theft course. I mean, he took a bunch of classes while in prison. He's got paperwork, including RSAT. But other than that, we're, I'm just pushing for a time served sentence. He's on parole, so he's going straight to parole after this.
We can do a non-negotiated plea if you want. Okay. This is State versus Jonathan Rayton Milton. He's got 4 cases on our calendar this morning. 20 CR 004663J, in which he was accused of theft by shoplifting from February 20th, 2020. His second shoplifting charge is from February 26, 2020, 20 CR 4665J. He's got 2 bench warrants for failure to appear on April 26, 2023. The bench warrants are 24 FTA 1903 and 24 FTA 1905. Mr. Milton, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you presently is Mr. Haddad. This is going to be a non-negotiated hearing, which means that the prosecutor is going to give their recommendation for a possible sentence if you choose to enter a guilty plea to the shoplifting charges. And then your attorney is going to give me an alternative recommendation. I can consider either one of the 2 recommendations, or I can disregard them and further notice the case for trial. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has 2 cases, both from 2020. Both happened at Publix. In the cases, the defendant on, September 15th of 2020, February 20th of 2020, entered the Publix located at 2275 Marietta Boulevard and stole $100 of miscellaneous food and beverage for the store. He did exit all points of sale at that time, and that led to his arrest after he was observed on store surveillance video and identified as the same individual who committed a theft by shoplifting on February 26th of 2020. On February 26th of 2020, the defendant entered the store and stole $100 of, it looks like over $100 of food and beverage items. And that was how he ended up being arrested on these charges. He was apprehended in June of 2020 in Marietta as a result of these 2 offenses. The state's recommendation is 12 months, serve 18 days, credit for time served 9 days from December 4th of 2024, balance probated, a $500 fine, stay away from all public stores. And we are also asking for an anti-theft course. The defendant has a extensive theft by shoplifting history. That is why we requested an upgrade to a felony. However, the DA's office declined to accept that case. It appears that the defendant has just been released on December 6th of 2024 from prison on a theft by shoplifting from Cobb County State Court, where he was sentenced in 2022. That is his most recent conviction, but he has convictions in, he has multiple convictions for theft by shoplifting in May of 2022, all from Cobb County. He has a Cobb County Superior Court theft by shoplifting conviction in June of 2017, in October of 2016 in Smyrna Municipal Court, April of 2014 in Cobb County Superior Court. Literally, his history is largely theft by shoplifting, with the exception of an aggravated assault in 2011, which was in conjunction with a theft by shoplifting where he received 3 years confinement. The statute does require us to ask for 30 days in jail and for a $500 fine. The reason the state is agreeing to modify the jail time is due to the fact that he has been in prison in continuous custody. That's all for the state.
Mr. Haddad? Oh, I'm so sorry. What's the recommendation for count 2? Also serve 18?
Yes, Your Honor. It's the same recommendation as to both.
So it's concurrent to position 34.
That is correct, Your Honor. And the state would also be null prosing positions 36 and 37 as a result of any plea.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, I really wasn't trying to be difficult here.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Just tell me, what do you think your client deserves?
So I just met with Mr. Milton. He wants to resolve the case. He has been in custody, continuous custody, since at least December 11th of 2000. Sorry, I apologize.
December 4th, 2024, without jail.
Yes, Judge, but let me back up. He has been in custody since May 2nd of 2022 from Cobb, where he was sentenced. He was given a 5-year prison sentence. He went down the roads. He has been in continuous DOC custody until December 4th, when he was released on parole, brought to Fulton County to resolve these two old misdemeanor cases, Judge. We're just requesting a time served sentence, which I think the state is recommending. He is on parole, so once he's released, he's going to have to report to parole. He has documentation. He's gone to RSA. He's taken other classes while in prison. He's trying to be productive, Judge.
What classes has he taken?
Your Honor, he has the paperwork. He has. He took the RSAT, as I'm sure the court is familiar with what RSAT is.
Yeah.
A job development class. These are the paperwork that I'm looking at. He's also taken, and he has a lot of paperwork with him, Judge.
I'm sorry. I just need to know, what was the last class he took and when?
He took a motivation for change in 2022. He took a class in 2023, problem solving skills. He took a reentry skills building in June of 2023. And he has one more. I think that's it, Judge. And the RSAT.
Okay. Just give me a moment. Mr. York, I think that's or Miss Hardy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Has Mr. Milton had any new cases, new arrests since 2023 onwards, other than the FTAs?
No, Your Honor, he has not. The last arrest I'm showing here is February 25th, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm agreeing with the state's recommendation for 12 months to serve 18 days and credit for time served 9 days. On each count, his fine is going to be $500. He has a $1,000 fine for these two theft by shoplifting convictions if he chooses to proceed with these cases. I'm going to dispense with the anti-theft class based on his cases, but this will be the penalty that he has to pay upon a conviction for theft by shoplifting, which he can pay once he's done with parole and reports to probation with Fulton County. And once he pays off the fine, the probation will terminate.
Thank you, Judge. We're ready to proceed with the plea.
Can I want to be able to figure it out. I don't have a final, but other case.
Yeah, you can pay whatever, yeah, that's fine.
Exactly. While I'm at work.
Yeah. Judge, we're ready to proceed with the plea as the court.
Anything from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. This is State versus Jonathan Milton. So based on the court's recommendation, Mr. Haddad, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Judge.
All right. Mr. Milton, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No more than my high blood pressure medication, diabetes.
All right. But are you able to understand what's going on with your cases so far?
Precise.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you prepared to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter a plea on these two charges, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not be able to go back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought before you, and have the state carry its burden to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to the theft by shoplifting charges from Publix, one on February 20th, 2020, and the other one on February 26th, 2020?
I plead guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 18 days, credit for time served 9 days. Balance will be probated in order for you to pay off a $500 fine on each case. So your total fine would be $1,000. And once these payments are made, you will, your probation will terminate. However, you're required to stay away from all public stores. You can go to Kroger, but not Publix, or Piggly Wiggly. I just wanted a chance to say that word, so.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Haddad, we have gone over the cases with Mr. White. Did you have any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, folks. You all have a good rest of the day. Ms. Greenhouse, thank you so much. And please submit your proposed orders to Ms. Champion, yes? As soon as you possibly can, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Ms. Champion, I should have sent the last of the FTA orders to you. If there's any I'm missing, please let me know, but I will be in a meeting until 1:30.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ms. Champion. Have a nice day, Your Honor. Have a nice day, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.
Can we go ahead and disconnect? You unplug, disconnect the Zoom. Yeah.